What's up, guys? We are back with another Marvel Legends review, taking a look at the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Death's Head. So he was, available at the show. He was available on Pulse. He's also been available at fan channel retailers too, for some reason. And I've been really excited about this figure in general. Don't get me wrong. We've had Death's Head 2 for years at this point, so I've wanted this one to go with him. But it's all about the packaging on this one. For me, the packaging is almost, if not more exciting than the figure itself, because the 91 series of Marvel cards have a huge nostalgic hold over me. These were the cards that were on store shelves when I started buying cards. So of course I went back and got the 90 series, and then I bought them for years after. But this is the one that kind of is the big one for me. And I've really been just kind of over the moon with the idea of having this as the framework for Legends packaging, because it absolutely works. So you've got him in that window. We've got that sort of yellowy border, his name down there on the bottom. You've got artwork on the spines, and then the back of the box, it's not exactly the same thing as the card, but it has that power ranking. You've got a shot of his head and then a little bit of a bio there with some of his stats. I absolutely love this idea. I think it's really cool. It's different. It's really unique. And I got two of these because I can't not keep one of these in the box. It's just doing it for me. So let's do it. Let's pull them out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Death's Head figure. So again, this guy is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for 2024. But the main focus for me when it comes to this figure is ridiculous because I like the box so much. I really, truly wanted this guy overwhelmingly because of that packaging when I saw it. Death's Head is a figure that I've wanted for a while, especially, again, since we have the second version already. But that box does so much for me when it comes to nostalgia. I was a huge, huge card collector as a kid, so this thing just takes me back. And I do think this is a pretty solid figure to use in that, form factor when it comes to that box. Despite how much I want to see every figure going into something like that going forward, I don't think that's ever going to happen. So let's see what he can do, see how he moves around. Pretty standard Legends figure, honestly, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Head's got some really good range. He looks up, he looks down really good. No tilt, but you do have swivel. Your arms are going to go out at the shoulders about yay far. The shoulder pads don't get in the way. That's just where they stop. You've got swivel. You've got bicep swivel. We've got single jointed elbows. Get you a little better than 90. You do have hinges. This is a vertical hinge. This is a lateral hinge over here. The cuffs do slightly cover the hinges, so range is slightly inhibited, but not too bad. You've got a waist twist down here, which, is fine. And then you've got a crunch. He goes forward, he goes backwards a little bit. That's about it though. Nothing too crazy. He is kind of big and bulky, so I'm not too surprised by the range or maybe lack thereof there. Legs go out about that far, which I'm honestly surprised about because of these, stirrups or whatever we're going to call them here. Skirt piece that he's got hanging down. It does kind of kick itself up and out of the way, but it's decent. They go forward about all the way, a little bit backwards. You got a thigh twist. We've got double jointed pinless knees. The arms are a single pinned joint. They're definitely older pieces. Pretty good range there. The cape is, of course, going to do what a cape does because it's not soft goods. And then you've got a boot cut, and you've got pretty decent rocker and hinges. The only thing I'm going to say that's maybe slightly negative about this guy is the knees and the ankles, at least to me, seem a little gummy. He's obviously standing just fine, and I've not really had a problem posing him. Just something to keep in mind. Otherwise, I think he moves pretty well, and he's a big, bulky figure. He's basically what you expect. Now, as far as the overall look and feel, very, very happy here. I don't have an overwhelming amount of nostalgia for Death's Head as a comic character. Like, I know where he comes from. I know he was originally Marvel UK, Transformers, and then got brought into Marvel Comics proper. Really, and this keeps going back to the card thing, is my main memory of this character as a kid was that comic card. That's it. That's what I remember specifically. I did read books with him in it, so I'm familiar with what he is, what he looks like, but it's always that card. Like, if I think of Death's Head, it's going to be that card. And I do think, for the most part, this guy works. There is some stuff on him that I was honestly kind of surprised about, the main thing being this cape. And, I know that we're in an era where, at this point, everything should really have soft goods cape. I really wish, this being an SDCC exclusive, they'd maybe charged $5 more and made him $45 instead of $40 and gave us a wired soft goods cape. If McFarlane is doing it, Hasbro can definitely do it. So that's kind of the one negative. That said, it does connect in such a way that it's not really in the way. So it's not part of the shoulder harness here. This is a different piece that's connected through the cape. So it goes through the cape and then into the back. It is connected to him. It's like you're probably going to have to do something to get that off of there if you want to, you know, remove it. But it's not really in the way. It's obviously never going to be dynamic, but it's also pretty decent looking. It's got sort of like a weave texture to it. It's got some scuffing and wear and tear, and it's got some holes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm okay with it, especially if you end up just having them in a static pose on your shelf. It's actually going to look fine. Like it's honestly kind of reminiscent of that card. The rest of the figure I think is pretty decent. It's very Colossus-esque, of course, because of the body type and structure. The only real thing body-wise that I'd say I'm going to kind of call out is that there's definitely something different between the torso, the arms, and the shoulders, and the head when it comes to the silver. The arms are not the same color as the legs, specifically. The legs are really, really light, and the arms are, I don't want to say dark, but they're darker. It may not be the easiest thing to pick up on video, but under these lights I can definitely see it. He does have some really nice metallic, especially on like the boots and the bracers and things like that. Paint is pretty clean. We do have yellow paint, which is typically, you know, kind of worrisome because yellow usually needs a lot to really cover up what's underneath it, but this is pretty good. Like I don't see a bunch of blue showing through or anything like that, especially on those spikes. And then the torso looks good when it comes to the differentiation of that yellow, which is really, really bright next to that silver. You do have some battle damage and some wear and tear, and also a little bit of paint on the shoulder pads where he's got like some bullet holes and things like that. And then you've got your head sculpt up here, which is kind of one of the more defining characteristics of this guy because he's got those big mandibles that stick out. But he's always had this sort of like bullish look, and I really like that. He's got the furrowed brow, he's got the little red devil horns coming out, and a very angry expression despite, you know, his actual demeanor maybe not being the most, well, he's not a bad guy, but the most evil looking thing on the planet. So I think he looks pretty solid. I'm really happy with the way he turned out. He's big, he's bulky, he's not overly huge, but he is really big, and I'm very, very happy with the way he turned out. Good amount of paint on this figure, and overall just a nice looking representation of a character that, I mean, I've kind of wanted for a while, whether he's anything close to a favorite or not. Now, as far as some size comparisons go, I've mentioned he's big, obviously. We've got some Marvel Legends here with him, so we've got the X-Men 97 Bishop. He's slightly larger than average. And then we've got Death's Head 2, because, well, that seems like an appropriate comparison. He is a larger scale Marvel Legends figure. He's not huge, he's not BAF size or anything like that, but he is not your standard size figure. Now let's move these aside, let's do some other stuff, just random stuff. Here is a Figuarts, there's Orange Piccolo. And let's move Bishop aside, and for something very different, there is a Mezco Turtle, there's Leonardo. As always, I am compelled to use a Legions figure, so here is a Cosmic Legions Red Jet. Let's move Leo aside, and, well, it's still Turtles, but a different company. Here is a Super 7 Ultimates, there's Shredder. And one more, definitely random, here is a Premium DNA Battletoad. So he is pretty big, he's not super massive, again, he's not a Build-A-Figure or anything like that, but he's definitely going to have some size compared to the majority of Marvel Legends figures. Now, as far as accessories goes, Death's Head has a pretty solid spread. If he was like a regular release, he would definitely not have all of this stuff. There's just no way. So to start with, we do basically get just a bunch of swapping parts for the hands, which is, you know, typical for his power set and what he does. So to start with, we do get an extra set of hands. He has one gripping hand, which was on his left, and he's got the Style Posey right hand. You get a set of fists, so you get 2 fists, and then he gets weapons that swap into the hands. So he's got the spiked club, you've got the rocket launcher, well, the rocket itself, and then you also get his axe. So you get all this stuff, and that can swap into the hands. And then you also get, lastly, his shield, which has some yellow, it's silver, and it's got some battle damage, but it also has these little things on the back, so you can actually attach all the weapons in there, and then what you would do is you pop this onto his back for storage. I do find that this maybe isn't the best system. It's not holding all that well, but it's in there and it's fine. And it looks okay once you've actually got it all said and done. So you can keep all of his weaponry on him at any given time, except for the extra hands, of course, which I'm always a big fan of. And then this really does kind of showcase his powers and what he does and all the equipment and stuff that he comes with. So again, pretty solid spread, definitely more than you'd have gotten otherwise. I feel like I'm not really missing anything here. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this figure. Again, I'm over the moon with the packaging. That does something for me on a level beyond action figures, so that's always kind of cool. You know, I'm sure Ryan Ting had an absolute hand in getting the card aspect of this box in play, and I'm really happy that they decided to do that. Again, give me every figure like that. The figure itself, though, really good. He comes with a decent amount of accessories. He's got some size. He's got a decent amount of paint. Moves pretty well for a big figure, and it really does look very close to, you know, comic accurate. The only real thing I would say is a negative is the cape, and it's not that the cape is bad. The cape is fine for what it is. It's just that, again, this is an SDCC exclusive. Why couldn't we have taken that one extra step, you know, take $5 extra from me and given us a wired soft goods cape? Again, if McFarlane is doing it, Hasbro can absolutely do it, and it would have made this figure into something even more special than it already is. So that's going to do it for this look at the SDCC exclusive Marvel Legends Death's Head. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.